What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonia Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How was your life?
Going.
Good job after I snapped at you. No.
I got it. Mind your business. What's up?
Dude, I'm getting pretty good at minding my business.
You are
Shoot.
getting good at minding
Checking my mental health, minding my business.
Yep, that's right. we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. Somebody said something about minding your business. Mm-hmm. But when I heard it, I took it in a different way. Like, it's kind of like, don't worry. Like, the way they said it was like, don't worry about what you're doing or what I'm doing. Because a lot of people worry about what other people are doing. And that's when people are like, mind your business.
Right.
But the way I took it was, you need to mind your business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever you have going on,
that's right.
You need to pay mind to that.
Yes.
Because paying attention and paying mind to other people's business isn't going to do you any good.
Right. It just
you got to pay mind
focus.
to your own business.
What it does is it instead of internalizing what's going on within,
damn, we're getting right into it, huh?
You start looking outside and pointing fingers instead of taking responsibility, you know?
Yeah.
And that all stems from, just shit that pisses you off. It's like, why does that piss me off? Why? Why does it matter? But why does it piss me off? Like, what's going on within me, that's allowing, this to fester?
Mind your business and figure it out.
Right. Like, if you mind your business, we could just stop the podcast right now. No, we're done.
That's it.
If everyone just starts minding their own business
See you guys next week.
in all areas of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
From marriage to parenting to finances.
Too many people mind other people's business too much.
Right.
Don't worry about what they're doing.
If we always just asked ourselves, why?
Yeah.
Why? I think we will get down to the core of the problem.
Yeah. Yep.
And then that's when we start working on
getting out.
Yep.
And figuring stuff out. Yep. So we got go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, like, we have tons of topics.
Yeah.
Like, that just leads us into everything.
Yeah. But we'll get back to that. But yeah, this is so this episode comes out the day before Thanksgiving. And
you always jack me up when you say that.
Why?
Because we're recording on a Sunday, but it's coming back
153 episodes in, you still don't.
Dude, I just show up.
Just show up and talk.
I'm the life of the party.
All right. Well,
without me, you'd be talking to yourself.
So I'm letting you guys out there know, and I'm letting Sonia know right now that this episode is going to come out the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy Thanksgiving,
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yes.
So yeah, happy Thanksgiving. What, babe? So what is your? I think Thanksgiving for me is definitely one of my favorite. I think it might be my favorite holiday.
Really?
It might be my favorite holiday.
Really?
Now that I'm an adult, yeah. I mean, when you're a kid, you really like Christmas.
Right.
And when our kids were little, Christmas, I look forward to Christmas too, because they get so excited, or at least sometimes. You never know with
kids.
They're
still excited.
No, they do, but sometimes you get some reactions like like they're excited, but they don't show it, and you're like, but yeah.
I don't know, but I'm excited about all of them. I like Halloween.
You're just a fucking party person. You want to celebrate all the time.
Yes. So just give me a reason to party, right?
But for me, I like. I think Thanksgiving's my favorite.
Why is that?
Because I like to eat. I like being around the family. I like hanging out with the family and football. Even though we haven't gotten to play football in the last few years, which hopefully we can change that this year. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just being able to hang out with the family and eat good food and just spend time.
Right.
Because that's just what it's about. Is just spending time with family and doing all that.
Yeah. So what are you grateful for?
Man, there's so much to be grateful for. I mean, and I think you talked about it on the last podcast too, about gratitude and
the importance of it. I mean,
and if you could if you need to work on your gratitude, it's a good time to start. Start with Thanksgiving and then carry it throughout the year. But But it is good to take time and think about, I mean, everything. Like my work, I remember being in the military, and there was a time when the work was just never ending. For those of you that have been in the military, you know that every once in a while, or sometimes it's just the work doesn't stop. And it's just 12 hours after 12 hours after 12 hours or more. And it's 7 days a week. And sometimes it's for a while at a time. And it's never ending. And I remember at that time that everybody's just getting worn out. And we hated it. But I don't know what it was. And I was a young guy too. I mean, I must have been like 19, 20 years old. But I took a step back, not literally, but like in my mind. And I just kind of looked around. And I was like, yeah, I'm working 12 hours a day. But I was like looking at the flight line. And I'm like, look at all these fighter jets on this flight line. I mean, how many people's dream would it be to get this close, let alone tear apart one of these things? Like, it sucks for us, but this is people's dream. You know what I mean? And I'm getting paid to do it, and they're teaching me how to do it. So there's always a way to look at things in a different way, in a way that you can find some gratitude in it. Because that was a shitty time. But at the same time, it's once in a lifetime experiences, And like right now, with everything that's happening in the world, we have a show, we're working, our kids are good. I mean, and at the end of the day, that's the important shit. Not the money, not all the other stuff. The money helps and it's great. But when our family's good, when our kids are good, that's the important stuff.
When I think about what I'm grateful for, I look back at everything that I've gone through. I look back at the family that I was born to, like being grateful for the struggle, living the struggle, with my mom, my dad, just all of it. Because everything that I've gone through, whether good or bad, has made me who I am today.
Wow.
So that's what I'm grateful for. It's just being born, really, because the life that we're living today, and
we got a lot of homies that didn't make it. We're grateful.
And being able to teach our kids how to get there mentally, and knowing the importance of mental health, because that is something that I never really thought about until I started to wake up, until I started to slow down.
Yeah.
And realize the beauty of life, just being able to breathe and have health, and checking in on myself to make sure that I'm okay, like I'm doing well.
How have you felt different since like you've been working on yourself and like all the processing that you've been doing? Like how do you feel? Like, do you feel different, like lighter, like less stressed? Like, how do you feel before compared to today?
Free from, this is what has helped me get me where I am today. It is checking my thoughts. It is. It's
like what?
Is that a
what
good
do you
thought?
say when you say
is
checking
that a
your
bad
thoughts?
thought?
Okay.
Is like with Adriana, with the things that that she's, because she's teaching me a lot. Just watching her emotions up and down. We're going to get into this a little bit later on when we start getting into the parenting aspect of our show. But watching her emotions and teaching her to check her thoughts.
Yeah.
Because her thoughts is what creates her emotions, and her emotions is what creates her actions. And so when I came home today, I don't want to get into that because that's something we're gonna talk about a little later on. But she was supposed to be done doing what she was supposed to do. Yeah. And this wasn't even it. She's doing this because.
So we went out for a couple hours to run some errands, and we left Audrey behind to do some things while we were out.
Right, and I came home and I'm like,
"What's up?
Are you haven't even moved? Starting? Like we were gone for 2 hours."
Yeah.
She was like going through some stuff emotionally, but when I left her, she was laughing, like she was fine, she was good. So I was just like, is she speaking truth? Is she telling me the truth, or she's just trying to get over one on me?
Pretty much,
right. So in that moment, like I was upset. Like you saw me, and I wanted her to see that I was upset.
And you know what's crazy too is that they'll go through these things, but like Audrey and preteen girls, preteen boys, whatever. Like they go through these things and they're legit. Mm-hmm. But they're also super smart.
Yes, they are.
And they know that they can play those cards to get away with shit.
And they know who they can play them with, right?
Yeah.
Because she knows that you're not going to take that, right? But she knows that she can.
Let's wrap up the crying and let's,
See, but this is the thing.
I mean, not really wrap up the crying. But
I want her to know. Like, I understand, what you're feeling. I understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
But this is what was expected because of something that I did for you. Yeah. We might as well just get into it because it's going to get confusing. So I was teaching Adriana and Joey about appreciation, how to show appreciation
and gratitude
for those, just for people in their life, people that look out for them. People that are there for them when they're going through things, people that mean, that are close to them, and so anyways, I started talking to Audrey about a few of her friends, and I'm like, what have you done for them, lately? Have you talked to them? Have you told them how you appreciate them? Anything.
Yeah.
And because girls can be selfish, right? They put themselves first a lot.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
When it comes to just certain things, when I take her to the store, it's like, Mom, what can you buy me? Instead of Mom, can I, is there a way for me to make money so that I can do A, B, and C, whatever. So we were going through this, I was teaching her. There was something that I wanted to teach her. And so I asked her, is there anyone that, you would like to get a card for? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I would like to get them a gift, but I have no money right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not even about the gift. I'm like, you can even make them a card, but she's like, I want to get them a gift.
It really is the thought. So it sounds cheesy or whatever, but yeah.
And we purchased them cards, and she didn't have money. So I told her, I will lend you the money, and I will think of a way
that you can earn it back.
You can earn the money back. And so she said, okay. So we went and we bought them some gifts, and, I got them some cards, and we decided that she was going to clean the cabinets.
Yeah.
Inside
old school style.
Right. Yeah. And so Miguel and I were gone for 2 hours, and she started, and when we came back,
and it wasn't like slave labor. Like there's a couple cabinets that you have to take the stuff out and wipe the inside.
There was only two.
Yeah.
And
but besides that, it's
just
wiping the outside of the cabinet, and if anything splashed on it when we were cooking,
so I was upset with her when I came home, but I didn't want to be over emotional, right? I had to check my emotions.
Yeah.
And so I asked her when she was, almost done. I'm like, hey, do you know why I'm upset with you? Why I'm disappointed in you? Yeah. And she's like, because I was wasting time. And I said, okay, I just wanted to make sure that you understood.
How did she take it?
She was fine. She understood.
Like she wasn't giving you attitude. Like she's like,
yeah,
I messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, I messed up.
Okay.
But it's being there to mentally check in with your kids, mentally check in with you so that you're not overreacting, because so many of us, and it's easy, right, to fall off. It's easy. Like when I came home, I wanted to choke her out.
Yeah. All the parenting books go out the window.
Right? Yeah. No, I was upset.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Because you and I had to record and dishes were slamming, and I'm like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean, we were expecting to come back and just get to work.
But I had to check my emotions.
Yeah.
Because I was livid. You know, so it's just slowing down to just kind of to be there, to be present and to check in, but also to still have that, still be firm with them and be like, hey, what's up?
This is something with being mindful. And we talked about it. I know I remember talking about it when we had Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. Larry Smith on the show a few weeks back. But it's when you become aware of certain things like that, like, at this point where you're at, when you get those feelings, it's not like you get those feelings and react right away.
Right.
Before, we would get those feelings and react, but now you know better. And then at a certain point, there was that transition where you knew better and you still reacted. Mm-hmm. But then after you reacted, you realize you're like, shit, I did it again.
Right.
But then now, like you said, you had those feelings, but you took that moment and then you thought it through. And then, okay, this is how I'm going to handle the situation instead of just blowing up and why you were and you shouldn't have been and you should have,
But I'm asking her questions like, do you know why, I'm upset? Do you understand why, I'm disappointed?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page. Because a lot of times the lack of communication.
Well, being mindful doesn't mean you let them get away with it.
Right.
It's just responding to it in a different way, in a more effective way. And
I told her, I said, listen, because there's many times where we went and we would buy the gifts, right, for their friends.
Yeah.
But how much better, and I told her, how much better, or how would you feel knowing that you actually worked for the money? Like the gift came from you, not from me.
Yeah.
And yes, you had to work for it, but there's more meaning behind the gift.
Yeah, of course.
So, and that's been hard though, to teach the kids how to put others when it comes to gifts, I think, before themselves, because they're always like,
I think it's a kid thing. There are certain things that I don't think kids, like we talked about humility. I think all kids when they're little, or maybe not all, but a lot of kids when they're little, like they feel like they know their shit. As soon as they start learning, oh, I got it, I'm good. Like I've seen so many, you know why I've seen that a lot? In jiu-jitsu. I teach kids jiu-jitsu. I mean, I've done it quite a bit. And there's so many, anybody that's taught kids jiu-jitsu, you show them the move one time and they're like, oh, I know how to do that. I got it. I know. Kids are all like that. It's not until you show them, guess what, buddy? You really don't know. And you don't know anything actually. We need to work on it. And we need to keep working on it. But this is stuff that kids have to learn. And sometimes they need to get taught lessons. Hard lessons that, and that's just how it is.
And a lot of time, like.
But I think that's one of those things.
A lot of the times it starts in the home.
Yeah.
Because they're not teaching this at school. And the lack of communication today that kids have, because they have cell phones, they're texting, right? They're texting, they're not calling. The communication, if we don't teach our kids at home, where are they going to learn this?
Yeah.
Because they're not communicating the way we used to communicate back in the day. Back in the day, it was picking up the phone, calling, going to a friend's house. They were playing outside, which our kids do play outside, but most kids are inside playing video games, or they're stuck on social media. They're not having the interactions that we used to have.
That's why they need the metaverse.
And that's why it's important for us parents, to be mindful, to check in with our kids, to see what it is that they know. What are they learning?
Yeah.
Because we automatically think it's part of growing up. It's part of being a human. The communication skills, knowing how to handle emotions, how to handle your thoughts, how to, how do you build self-discipline? It all starts at home.
Yeah. You know what? I just had this thought. But we've been looking into a lot of different things. Sorry, this might be on a separate tangent, but people skills in the future, they are going to be valuable. Because if everybody's fucking around on the internet and with their head in the phone, and now with this whole new thing that's coming out with like the next wave of the internet where people are going to be almost living in the internet, like human communication skills are going to be pretty good. Like they're going to be worth something. And the people that know how to deal with people face to face, one-on-one, that kind of like, that's going to be a valuable skill, I think.
Yes. With Joey, him being, there's a lot of time, he's just an impatient kid. Yeah. And he's hard on himself, right?
Yeah,
he
he's very
expects
hard
to
on
do
himself.
Things right the first time, and that's not how things work. For him, it's constant. For us, to be tuned into him on how to handle those emotions, because a lot of kids that don't know how to handle their emotions, their frustrations, a lot of times the kids start to cut. They start to turn to other ways, trying to figure out how to handle their emotions.
Yeah. You know what? You're bringing up something that kind of goes into something else that I listened to. In that book Untangled, that's something that I never even thought about. But with our daughter and with kids, Untangled is about girls. So I don't know exactly.
They mention a little bit about boys as well and how they handle their feelings.
Yeah. But I don't know exactly how this relates to boys. But it said that most girls will even if you have a girl that emotionally she has the regular issues, but overall she doesn't have any like crazy things happening. Like you don't have to worry too much.
Yes.
But it said that most girls even still will have to deal with friends.
Yes.
That are going through serious shit.
Yes.
Like very serious shit.
Yes.
And they're going to have to figure out how to navigate that. And that's something that I've never thought. Like you just mentioned about.
I've talked to Audrey about that.
You just mentioned like the cutting and all that other stuff. Like I don't worry too much about our daughter doing it, but I've never thought about her having to deal with friends that are doing it. Because that's a lot to process when you're going through your own shit.
Yes. And especially when you have a daughter who is intuitive.
Yeah.
And she is such a loving girl and wants to be there for her friends.
Yeah.
And when her friends hurt, she's a lot like me. When her friends hurt, she hurts. So teaching her how to manage her emotions, teaching her how to let go of emotions that don't belong to her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And responsibility that is not hers.
Yes.
Her understanding responsibilities that are not hers when it comes to situations like that.
Yes. And knowing when to ask for help from an adult. If she has a friend that's cutting herself, if she has a friend that's having suicidal thoughts, if she has a friend that maybe their parents are going through a divorce. A lot of girls, or just a lot of us that take on other people's emotions, it's so important to be able to let go. And that's why I find, and you see this, I find myself in her room sitting with her, allowing her to dump all her stuff out on me.
Yeah.
But then me being able to let go of that as well and not taking on her emotions, being able to secure your energy, knowing how to. And with her, like I'm teaching her to give it to God, like give it to me, give it to God, let go, talk to God, talk to me.
There's an analogy with stress. I remember seeing it somewhere or in the military, but there's this thing where like you have a pencil, right? Mm-hmm. And you just hold you hold the pencil in with two hands, right? Just a regular pencil, number 2 pencil. You hold it with two hands and you stretch your arms out and just hold it out. And that's kind of like the issues in the world and the stress, right? Mm-hmm. If you hold it for a little while, no big deal. But if you hold it for an hour or 2 hours, you're going to start to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold on to that all day, if you hold on to that pencil all day, your arms are going to be on fire and you're not going to be able to move them. Like they're going to be paralyzed from just holding them there for so long. And that's similar to like the stresses that we all deal with. Like so many people, they hold on to this stuff and like it's all they think about. And if you hold on to that stuff is going to paralyze you. All the shit that's happening in the world, like all the issues, you can't hold on to that stuff. And you can't be constantly thinking about that stuff like we've talked about on here before. You got to put that stuff down before it paralyzes you. What you need to do is look at the other side, like the stuff, what can I do about this stuff that's happened? Like, and there's things that you can't do anything about. And that's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast. You got to mind your own business. And some of this stuff is none of your business. You got to focus on what's important for you and your family.
You only can do what you can do. With boys, and it's a lot of times we spend so much of our focus on our girls because they're the ones that are emotional wreck, right?
Yeah.
But the boys are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just not expressing it because society has kind of closed those doors. It's like it's not okay for a boy to express his emotions.
Is it society or is that how
we
people are?
Well,
I mean, if you think about people living in tribes, I think it might be the same way. I mean, even way back in the day, like thousands of years ago, the way like men were probably still more reserved. Like it's not, I don't know if it's society. Maybe it's just the way humans are.
Well, when a boy falls down and hurts his knee, scrapes his knee.
Yeah.
What do the parents normally say?
Stop crying. I don't know.
When a girl falls down and hurts her knee.
Yeah, it's okay. Come here. And, yeah. Poor baby.
Aww.
But it's not always like that with boys. But yeah. It's because
boys
It's because boys got to fight battles. I don't know.
More than not.
Yeah.
But they still have, you still have to check in on your boys on their mental health. Like I tell Joey, hey, listen.
It's not
it's okay to feel sad. It's okay. But it's teaching him how to be strong, but how to also be okay with certain emotions. It's okay to be sad. Yeah. It's okay to cry.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we don't want our men walking around like crybabies.
No, and there's a balance to it.
Right.
There's a balance to it.
Yes. But just knowing it's allowing our boys to
walk around all, oh my God.
It's allowing our boys.
You'd be like, get it together, Miguel. What the fuck?
To express themselves.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what you did, that was really fucked up.
Is that what you want,
hurt
babe?
My emotions.
You want me to put on a turtleneck and a scarf and I'll be so.
Listen, I know when you get butt hurt. I know this past week you've been getting.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? Well, because I've been so. Okay, so the past 2 weeks maybe I've been checking in a lot with the kids.
Yeah.
And you'll be trying to talk to me or about something or other. You've been trying to get my attention.
Okay.
I've been trying to watch this video with you for 2 days and because I've been busy with starting our parenting series, with checking in with our daughter, with our kids. I've been busy.
Okay.
And there's times where I can see where you're like,
yeah, I'm getting frustrated because I'm trying to talk to you.
But you don't communicate what you're feeling. Instead, you're just like, whatever the fuck. You kind of, you know what I'm saying? You just like kind of brush it off instead of communicating. To me, or just earlier today when we were in the car, I don't remember what the hell it was, but you looked at me like I was stupid. And I said, do you remember what it was? And I said, why are you looking at me like I'm stupid? Why don't you communicate with me and tell me I can't remember what the hell it was about. Do you remember? Yeah. But after I brought it to your attention, you know, like I'm not a mind reader, but I'm very good at feeling your energy.
And if you're not getting it, I will tell you something. Like I don't leave it so that you don't know what the hell's going on. Like you do know something's up. Always.
But it's only because of who I am. But if I was somebody else, I'm very intuitive. So
that's enough for you to know that something's going on.
But it's like, communicate with me, talk to me. Because if it's serious, like it's like, hey, babe, we need to watch this video like now. I've been trying to get you to watch this video, and you're just out here and there. Sit your ass down. We need to watch this video. Like I'm like, all right, babe. Like I'd be like, okay. But it's like, communicate with me. Let me know what the
you got it. You got it. You knew something was up,
babe.
Right?
I'm not a fucking mind reader.
You knew something. If I didn't say anything,
communication.
You knew something was going on.
But it's only because of who I am.
Okay,
and because I'm in tune.
I know who you are, and I'll make it clear that something's up, and you knew it.
Because every time
something's up, you know it.
But if you don't express the importance, I'm going to continue doing what I need to do.
And when you kept doing what you were doing, what did I say? Look, if you don't have time to watch the video, I'll just send it to you and you can watch it or you cannot watch it. It's up to you, whatever. I'm going to watch it myself, or I've already watched it, and I'll continue to do what I'm doing. If you don't have time to do it, then don't watch it.
But what you said...
But at that, I did say something, and at that point, you knew something was up.
Yeah. But you said it in a manner because you were upset. It's like, it's kind of like...
No, but, and that's the thing, is that at that point, there is no expectation. Like, I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, literally. I just don't give a fuck anymore. I can send you the video. You can watch it, not watch it. And that's something that I was going to talk about. Like, not making shit into something bigger than it actually is. It's a fucking video. I don't give a fuck, really. Like, we can watch it together.
He's speaking very passionate right now. But he's still claiming that he doesn't care.
It was something. it was something important that I wanted you to look at.
So but just it's not.
But it's not. Listen, just let me finish. It's not something that you're gonna be doing like a lot of. So it was something interesting that I wanted you to see. But if you're not, like, if you got other more important shit going on, and obviously I've been trying to show this to you for a few different times, and it's not happening. It's frustrating, but I'm not gonna make it bigger than it is. I'm just like, you know what? I'll send it to you. If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, but the thing is that if you would have just left it at that, that would have been the end of it. That would have been the end of it. It's not like I'm going to hold a grudge about this whole fucking video and this and that and whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I already seen it.
And I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if you would have communicated to me what you were feeling, no, you didn't.
Yes, I did. And that's how you knew.
I noticed that you were upset about it. If it
Babe,
meant
I'm telling you that I wasn't upset. I'm telling you that I wasn't upset. Well, I'm telling you that I could have sent it to you, and that was going to be the end of it.
But you really wanted to watch that with me. So if you would have said, hey, babe, I really want to watch this with you, I would have dropped everything else, and I would have did it.
That's the problem. It's the expectation. I don't care. Like, yes, I wanted to watch it, but if I have an expectation of
Let's
you...
just move on.
Listen, if I have an expectation of you watching it with me, I would have been pissed when you didn't want to watch it, or you had other shit going on and you wanted to go do something else. But I wasn't. I was like, look, if you don't have time, I'm going to send you the video. Watch it. Don't watch it. I don't care. I've already seen it. So I'm going to move forward.
Okay.
Isn't that what I said?
Yes. But when you say it in that manner, when you rewatch the podcast, you're going to see the feeling behind what you just said.
No, I would have.
But that's how you expressed it to me that day.
There's so many times that I want to talk to you about stuff, and you know this for a fact because I do it.
You can't tell me what I know.
I do it. Well, I'm going to tell you, and you'll say yes. I can guarantee that. Because I do it. I do it tens of times, maybe 100 times a week. Maybe not a week, but a month. There's hundreds of times a month where I'm talking to you, and I stop mid-conversation and walk the fuck away. And you know it. I do it all the time, don't I?
I don't know.
Because if you're not paying attention or you have other things going on, I'm out. And do I get pissed off? Do you hear me fucking, later on, I'm just like, hey, I was going to tell you something earlier, or at night when we're hanging out. Oh, I was going to talk to you about something. But throughout the day, There's so many times when I go to tell you something and I'll just fucking stop and leave because I notice that you're into something else. But it's not like I'm, it hurts my feelings. I'm just like, well, you got shit going on. I'm out.
Yeah. Like if I'm busy doing work, but still, it's still the lack of communication. That's it.
Okay.
Anyways.
So anyway.
So communication when it comes to marriage or parenting, whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever it is, there's a way to express yourself. And there's times where you express yourself where you may say you're not upset, but the way you're saying it and the way you're expressing it is telling me something different, And if something means that much to you, express it to your loved one, because if your loved one knows that it's something that means a lot to you, they're probably going to stop whatever it is that they're doing so that they can sit there and watch it or whatever it may be. They may, take the time to do whatever it is that you want to do because you mean that much to them.
Well, if it's important. And like I told you, those videos were kind of important and we did end up sitting there and watching them.
Yes.
But a lot of those conversations where I stop talking and walk away, they're not that important. So they don't come back up.
Right.
It just depends on what's important. If it's important, then work it out.
So there's your marriage tip.
And one thing before we move on, there was something that I heard in the book Untangled, and it was an article by a psychologist, Anna Freud. And if you guys know psychology, I don't know if any of you follow, but Sigmund Freud he's a famous psychologist. But his wife was also, and they don't talk about her as much, but she did a lot of work with girls and adolescents, preteens, that sort of thing. But she wrote something that I was thinking about, I don't know what you think, but maybe reading it to Audrey. But sometimes when we have a girl, like a 11, 12, 13, when they're going through that time in their life where it's difficult.
So when they're going through
puberty, the adolescence, preteen, but when they're going through that, I mean, it's a hard time, and sometimes it's hard to explain what the hell's going on.
They don't know.
And this is an article from Anna Freud, and I just wanted to read it real quick. But it says, "I take it that it is normal for an adolescent to behave for a considerable length of time in an inconsistent and unpredictable manner, to fight her impulses and accept them, to love her parents and hate them, to revolt against them and be dependent on them, to be deeply ashamed, to acknowledge her mother before others, and unexpectedly to desire a heart-to-heart talk with her, to thrive on imitation of others while searching unceasingly for her own identity, to be more idealistic, artistic, generous, and unselfish than she will ever be again, but also the opposite, self-centered, egotistic, calculating. Such fluctuations and extreme opposites would be deemingly highly abnormal at any other time of life. At this time, they may signify no more than an adult structure of personality that takes a long time to emerge, that the individual in question does not cease to experiment and is in no hurry to close down the possibilities." So all these things that they go through, like at any other point in your life, people would be looking at you like, what the hell? Like we might put a jacket on them and throw them in a padded room, but it's just normal.
It is.
It's just normal stuff that they go through.
Their brain is developing at a very rapid pace. Their body is changing. They're feeling emotions that they've never felt before. One second they're happy, another second they're sad. It's a roller coaster. And secretly, our daughters are thinking that they're crazy.
Yeah.
That they're insane. And if you let them know, and I've had conversations with Audrey time and time again, that everything she's going through and everything she's feeling is normal.
Yeah.
And I tell her that even your friends that are not expressing that they're feeling the same are more than likely feeling the same. And we've all gone through it. Like we have all gone through it.
Yeah.
And so just letting her know that I'm there for her And, like I got her back.
And being mindful. While you were gone on your trip that we talked about last week when you went to Mexico, I had told you that there was one of the days when the kids were going to school, before the kids left, I was working from home. And I just sat on the couch with Audrey for a second before she left. Because like we've been talking, and you were telling me like that, kind of like what we're talking about now. Like she doesn't know exactly why she feels the way she feels. And some of the feelings that she has, like some of the negative feelings she has towards me, and she doesn't understand why.
Yes.
She's like, and like I was talking to you, and the whole being aware thing and being mindful of the situation. Like I don't want her to feel bad about it, So before she left to school, like I sat down and I talked to her. And I just told her, I was like, look, I know you're having a hard time, with everything that you have going on, with all the changes and all the things that you're feeling. And the night before I talked to her, before she left to school, when I was talking to her on the couch, the night before that, I had went up to her room because we had mentioned how we kind of switch back and forth now to spend a little bit more time with the kids before when we're tucking them in for bed. So that night before, I had went to Audrey's room and I laid with her on her bed. And I know she has these feelings about me getting close to her, but I wanted to give her a hug, and I just wanted to lay with her.
It's not about you getting close to her. It's about the transformation of her body.
It's the physical, it's the physicality of me being next to her. Yes. And I understand that. So I laid down next to her, but there was space between us. Mm-hmm. Our heads were maybe a little bit closer, but our bodies were apart. And then at one point, our dog Jane came and got up on the bed, and I kind of put Jane in between us to kind of give us some space, and then hug both of them. But there was a time when I wanted to give her a hug, and instead of putting my arms around her, like she had her arms around her stomach, mm-hmm. and I put my arms on her arms, mm-hmm. so that I wouldn't be like hugging, like grabbing her body, just being thoughtful. Yes. And when we were sitting on the couch, I told her, I was like, look, like I'm trying. I was like, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, that's the last thing I want. I was like, I understand that you're going through these things, and you may not understand exactly why you're going through these things, but I can guarantee you that it's no different than what a lot of girls go through at this time. Mm-hmm. I was like, what I don't want you to feel is bad about how you feel towards me. Right. I was like, look, no matter what, I love you, mm-hmm. and whatever's going on, we'll figure it out.
That is so good.
Don't feel bad. Mm-hmm. And then I gave her a kiss and a hug, and that was it.
Yes.
That's
but so good. Yeah, it's just, with with both Audrey and Joey, when I was taking them to church today, I had a conversation with them, and I told you about it. Because I know that they're going to make mistakes. And I want them to know 100% that they can come to us no matter how bad the situation is.
Yes. Yes. That is something that a lot of kids, they are so scared.
Yes.
But man, if you think about it, when your kids get into something, the parents are the ones that they should want to go to get help from. Because they're the ones that they're going to get the most help from.
And this is a conversation. This is something that we need to constantly remind them about. And I think that you should also have the same conversation with them. But I was talking to them and I said, listen, you guys are going to make some mistakes in your life. Regardless, I need you to know, no matter how big of the mistake, I need you to know that you can trust us. And I want to make this promise to you. And I'm like, I want to make this pinky promise.
Yeah.
That no matter how bad it is, I will never get angry with you. Yeah. I may get disappointed, but I will never get angry. Like, I will always love you. And no matter what it is, I want you to know that you can come talk to us. And so,
or call us when you're in a situation
and
that
I want
you need help with. Yeah.
And if you feel comfortable and if you mean it, to promise me that no matter how bad or what it is that you do, that you will come to me first. You will come to us first.
Yeah.
And we did a pinky promise, and they grabbed my promise or my pinky, and they promised me, and I promised them. But I know that that is something that I have to continuously bring up to them, because just because I brought it up once doesn't mean
it has to be in the front of their mind.
That it's yes, exactly.
Yep. No, that's good. I think in the book Untangled, they were talking about that when you use that as the party parent, like when you're not the party parent, when they can call you and say, "Hey, I left on the flat iron." Go back and listen to the last episode so you can hear that that technique for when your kids are in a bad situation and calling home and saying, "Hey, I left on the curling iron," or whatever, and then you blow up on her over the phone and go pick her up.
Right.
But that was one of the things that they talked about, was that having this conversation with them, so that like I might be upset, but I'm not going to be angry. We might talk about it the next day, over breakfast, but I'm not going to get angry. I won't blow up at you. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
But Yep. And if you guys would like to pick up Untangled and you guys would like to help out the show, you guys can do that by going to oppositesattractpodcast.com. And when you go there, you guys can watch the show there. You can listen to it there. You guys will see all of our social media. You can follow us there. You guys can also send us a message there. If you guys hit the contact us and you guys have a question for us, or you want to send us a message, you guys can do that there. But when you go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, you'll see the support the show link. When you click on that, it'll take you to our Amazon link. And anything that you purchase on Amazon through that link doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps out our show. And also, you'll be able to see our merch on Amazon. If you search Opposites Attract Podcast, you'll be able to see our pop sockets, phone cases, t-shirts, and a few other things. You guys can find it all on Amazon. And when you click on the Support the Show tab, you'll also see a link to Trust Inc. And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary agency and signing agency. So if you are in the process of purchasing, selling, or refinancing, you can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency.
Nice. How's your coffee, babe?
It's great. It's strong.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like the coffee too.
Yeah,
and if you guys would like to buy us a coffee, you guys can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. We want to give a huge shout out to Bill Soroka, who hooked us up. He was the first to buy us a coffee. And you should definitely check out his podcast, Side Hustle Lounge.
Yes,
and also Sign and Thrive, which is his notary coaching company.
Yes.
So if that's something that you guys are interested
Notary
in, make sure.
Coach.
Yeah, notarycoach.com
Mm-hmm.
and Side Hustle Lounge. Excellent podcast. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're always open to new options and ways to make money, check that out. We're also affiliates with Pinwheel, which is a smartphone for kids, the best smartphone available out there. Doesn't have any social media, doesn't have access to the internet, and it doesn't have any of the bad stuff that kids can get into. The phone is a tool to make kids more productive, to help them out, and it's a great solution for parents that don't want to give their kids a phone at all, because that is not a good option for that situation. Just keeping the kids away from the phone, they're going to rebel.
Yes,
With this, you can get a kid. I was even against phones as a little kid. But with a phone like this, you can set it up where it has apps that are appropriate for a younger kid. And then you can change the apps as they get older. And then once they get to the point where they can have a full-blown smartphone, then they can do that. So if you guys would like 10% off of a Pinwheel phone, you can get more information at pinwheel.com. And if you want 10% off, you can use promo code OAP10, all in caps, all spelled out, OAPTEN, and that'll give you 10% off of a Pinwheel phone. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't, but maybe not.
No.
I think we're good. So anyway, before we move on to something else, there was a situation where you were having a conversation with Evan about being right, or like about what's more, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like being like whether it's more important to be right or to ruin a relationship.
Right.
What was that? That was a couple days ago that you were telling me about.
I just wanted to, I I just
So
love watching.
This is our son Joey and his best friend.
Right. Who's our second son.
Yeah. He comes over.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm staying with my second parents this weekend. Like he comes with his bags packed in pajamas already, like ready to crash for the weekend. I'm like, let's do it, dude.
He's so cute. So I love to just talk to the kids just to get inside their little brains to try to see where they're at, I guess, in the thought process. So I have the 3 kids. Were you there? You were there, right? Was it during dinner? You walked in while I was I don't know. We were all sitting down and I asked Evan a question, and I told Audrey, because Audrey loves to answer everyone's questions. I asked her if she could please zip it, and Joey as well. And I wanted to see how they would answer. So I asked Evan, I said, hey, I'm like, I have a question for you. And I said, if you and Joey were having a discussion or an argument, a disagreement, and you knew that you were right, like you knew 100% that you were right and you did nothing wrong, regarding whatever, the situation. And I said, would you prefer to be right, or would you, I don't even remember how I asked the question. Would you rather be right and save the relationship?
No, be right. Be right. And have your friend be mad at you.
Right. Yes. And he said, I would rather have Joey as my friend
than to be right. Yeah.
And I just looked at him and I was like, this, for him being so young, and I told him, I'm like, you are a great friend. I'm like, for you to be so young and to understand that concept.
Yeah.
I said, because for me as an adult, I said, it took me a while to learn that, but I have always been that one.
Yeah.
I have always been that one to apologize first, because you know what? Whatever that is, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I value my friendships more than being right.
Yep.
Even if they did something wrong to me, like even when those situations have came up.
It's like, I'm going to let it slide, but I got my eye on you.
And right. And I asked Adriana the same thing and Joey the same thing. And, but it's so good to know that they are so young, but they are so smart. Yeah. They are getting it, and it's our job to continue to enforce it, to continue to watch their behavior, continue to check in on them. And it's so important above all things that we are leading by example, because when it comes to marriage, they're going to look at our relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. They're going to look at our relationship. Audrey is not going to want anything less than her daddy. When she sees that her daddy is opening mommy's door, car door, store door, whatever it is, after 14 years, her witnessing you coming, our relationship, our communication, the way we are together, the way we treat each other.
We're a team.
The way we treat the kids, the way we're raising them.
Yeah.
They're going to have something, like a
standard.
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
They're gonna have their bars set, for their partner.
And it's not even just for our kids; it's for the kids that come into our home.
Yeah,
the way we are with them, the way they see that we are. With Adriana, the way they see, with our family. Whenever they have, Audrey has a friend over or Joey has a friend over, we sit down. I say grace. Or either Audrey says grace or Joey says grace. But we're all, I would say 95% of the time, we're having dinner together.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. 95% of the time, we are having dinner together. And if it's not a busy Saturday, we are having breakfast together. Right? Yep. We're in there as a team. We cook together. We eat together. We clean together. Everyone has responsibility. And that's just something that I want to install into our kids, because I feel that it's very important to have that quality time.
Yeah. Actually, make sure you guys listen to the next podcast, because I actually have it opened up on my phone right now. I have an article from, I think it's Harvard Medical, but it's about the impact of having dinner as a family. So I have to read it and go through it, but I have it open already. So I'll have that for the next episode. But yeah, that's something that we've always focused on. But kind of, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. You like how I say that? It sounds professional. But
it sounds pretty legit.
But no, what we were talking about earlier, like whether it's more important to be right or to save a relationship. And on Halloween, this is something I didn't talk about, but I talked to you about it. The boys, they had something going on Halloween. I can't remember exactly what happened. I don't know if they were playing Fortnite or Joey got beat or whatever. And like we've talked about, he's got a temper, and maybe he was getting made fun of.
He's a sore loser sometimes.
Yeah, he's a sore loser sometimes. And maybe he was getting made fun of or something happened. I don't know, but he wasn't happy. And the boys were having a little bit of an issue on Halloween. So it's probably about, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and the sun's going down and the kids are starting to come out. And like, I'm expecting like, hey, it's time for us to get ready and go trick-or-treating or go get together with the neighbors or whatever. And I look at Joey and I can see that, he's fucking mopey. I'm not going to Halloween this year or something like that. And I'm like, what's up, dude? Like, what happened? And he's like, oh, Evan, something, this and that. And I'm like, what happened? And I don't know. He told me that, I don't know if he was making fun of him or he lost and pretty much I think he was being a sore loser. But, and that's another thing. That's something that we can get into right after this. But Joey likes cracking jokes.
Yes.
But sometimes when people crack jokes on him, he doesn't like it too much.
Right.
But I told Joey, I'm like, hey, you're 10 years old. I was like, you get one Halloween when you're 10 years old with your best friend. One Halloween. I was like, are you going to sit around and be upset over a stupid game and miss out on Halloween with your best friend? I was like, dude, that is not worth it. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. I was like, even if you were wrong or you were right or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, if I was you, I would just go apologize to my best friend and be like, hey, it's Halloween. Let's get our costumes on. Let's go have some fun. And he was just like, yeah. I was like, go do it. And he's like, okay. But I think I was thinking at the beginning of this podcast, if you're a parent that thinks about these things, like if you're just a parent that is looking, I heard this on the Adam Carolla show a long time ago. Not that we need to plug other shows, but I mean, if you're somebody that's looking, your kids are going to be okay. Like, you're not the ones that people need to worry about, because you're actually searching, you're seeking, you're trying to get better. There's people that just don't give a shit. They're the ones that we need to fucking worry about. They're the ones that we need to get hold of, right? But if you're listening to this show, if you're focused, you guys are going to be all right. The information's out there, like we talked about on the last episode. You just got to find it.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it was cool.
That was so
and then they had an awesome Halloween. I mean, it was a great Halloween.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
no, that is so good.
But getting back to Joey and cracking jokes. The other day we were at the dinner table and he had said something that wasn't like, so Joey has this personality. Like, he tries to be funny. And I think he likes being funny. He likes making people laugh. You can kind of tell that, right?
Yes, he does.
But I think he's still trying to figure out what funny is and what is actually, humorous, and sometimes he says some things that aren't I think he's trying to figure out sarcasm. Yes. And sometimes if you don't know exactly what sarcasm is, you just end up being mean, or if it's not funny, it's just mean.
Well, maybe we should watch some kid comedians.
Some comedies. I was telling Sonia's like, how can we teach him? I was like, let's watch Bill Burr. He'll teach him how to be sarcastic. He's like, yeah, right.
Well, the thing, see, and this is it. Like I told him, I said, because anyways. So I said, listen, Joe, I'm like, I know you're trying to be funny. And a lot of times you are funny, but what you said is not funny. I said, I want you to think about something. I said, Frazier, who was our dog that we've had forever, and we all loved him very dearly, and we lost him. And it took the kids quite some time to move on from the loss.
Yeah. All of us.
Yes. And so I told Joey, because I had to make him understand. So I said, if someone cracked a joke about Frazier's death or him dying or him being sick, how would that make you feel?
Yep.
And that's what got him to realize.
And
it's asking questions, right? It's getting him to see and to understand the way we see it and the way we're taking it.
And the way other people may see it.
Yes.
But there was something that you said or something that you told Joey that was really cool. Because afterward, you kind of, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but you kind of mentioned to him or said something that made it seem like it's not that you can't joke about certain things. It's that if you miss on that joke, it's not funny. It's offensive and it hurts people's feelings. Because that's the thing is like, well, we were talking about it earlier. There's a lot of things that people say you can't talk about. You can't talk about this. Can't talk about that. You can talk about anything. And if you ask a professional comedian, they'll tell you there is nothing that is not funny. You can find humor in everything. The problem is that if you don't actually make it funny, it's hurtful.
Yes.
And there is no topic that's off limits as long as you're thoughtful with the way you deliver the stuff. But even as a 10-year-old kid, like you were just kind of telling him, like, hey, you got to be careful with some of the things that you say. But, letting him be free in what he wants to say.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, babe.
So with that, we hope you guys have an incredible Thanksgiving. I don't know what we're going to do for Thanksgiving. Maybe
Thanksgiving with Nikki.
We'll go see some family.
With our niece.
Hopefully we get to play football, man. I had one of my friends from work.
Yeah.
He was telling me, he's like, dude, if you find some football, let me know. I'm like, I'm always down for football.
Yeah, but we're going to be on the opposite end of the world.
I know. But hopefully we can figure it out. But I hope you guys have an incredible Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys are listening to this while you guys are getting ready for Thanksgiving, because it comes out the day before. While you guys are cooking, you guys can listen to the show.
Yes.
And have a little bit of fun.
Eat an extra pumpkin pie for me. I love pumpkin pie.
A whole pumpkin pie for you? Holy shit. So thank you guys for being with us. Make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with those that you know. Follow our social media. If you guys would like to buy us a coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. You guys can call us, leave us a message at 480-912-5128.
Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast,
where we get better
together.
Bye.